I just came across this real mysterious stuff about the Ark of Covenant, something that has always been one of the most fascinating artifacts in the history of humankind. And just a couple days ago, I was watching the latest Joe Rogan's podcast, and in that, I basically learned that Ark of the Covenant, which is actually mentioned in the Bible, the box which actually has the 10 Commandments, which is handheld by Moses himself, this box actually exists right now, and it's currently located in Ethiopia in Eastern Africa. Now, I honestly had no idea that this thing even exists as of now in 2024. I was imagining that this artifact was one of those items which is going to be lost in time because it's been over 4,000 or maybe 6,000 years. I'm not exactly sure, since the time of Moses until 2025. But I just learned from the new podcast from Joe Rogan's that the Ark of Covenant, it is actually present in this church. And the best part of all is that President Trump was one of those lucky ones that actually got to take a look at this Ark of Covenant. And some of the descriptions that he is given, it basically seems like it holds a massive amount of energy inside it, which kind of makes us feel there could be some sort of a nuclear energy that's basically trapped inside of what seems to be a scientific mechanism. Now just take a look at what Joe Rogan basically specifies about the things that he learned. And also he spoke to President Trump, and he actually gives us like crazy description about what this Ark basically looks like.
That has always been rumored to be the place where the Ark of the Covenant is stored. Searching the Ark of the Covenant.
Very intrigued by it.
You know how he really got into it?
No.
He got into it researching the Ark of the Covenant.
Really?
Yeah, because in Ethiopia, there's a specific church in Ethiopia that has always been rumored to be the place where the Ark of the Covenant is stored.
Ethiopia, I actually did my own research about this stuff, and apparently it's true that there is a place in East Africa in Ethiopia, and this place is apparently a church, and this is basically how the church looks like. And inside this church, here, as you can see, this is basically the place in which they have apparently kept the Ark of Covenant. Hold on, I don't think you guys can actually see it. Here we go. Let me just open this up real quick, and here you go. So apparently what happens is that there is an Ark of Covenant that's located inside what looks like some sort of a tomb in here, and there is some massive power and energy that keeps emitting out of this particular place. And a lot of people have been describing it as some sort of a nuclear energy that's basically like compacted inside of this box, and we don't exactly know what is inside it. But as far as what the Bible states, there seems to be 10 commandments, which was given by God himself to Moses, which was then inherited by the Israelites, and it was stored inside this specific box, which is made in a very, very specific way. Now, if you read the Bible, you'll actually find out that God basically gave Moses some sort of a blueprint on how to exactly make this box. And all of the Israelites, they met their goals, and they made this box in a very, very specific way. Now, take a look at what Joe Rogan has to say about this stuff.
And there's these garters of these people that are guards of this area, and they all develop cataracts. They all have like radiation poisoning, and they're guarding this one particular area. They won't let anybody look at it. They won't let anybody talk about it. And Graham got fascinated by this.
So apparently they have guards, the guys who are always going to stay there. And these are not just like some sort of military guards or like security guards. These are like guys who inherit this throughout their bloodline. It's like, for example, if your grandfather is a guard that's going to be guarding this Ark of the Covenant, then your father is going to be the next guy who's going to be doing it. And after that, his child, which is you, who are going to be doing it. And there is absolutely no way that anyone else gets a chance in order to guard it. It's basically like a family tree. And everyone that guards this covenant, they seem to be losing their eyesight to things like cataract and all that stuff, because there seems to be a massive amount of radiation that this box keeps emitting. And a lot of people say that there is some sort of a nuclear weapon kind of an energy that's present inside this box.
And they started doing a deep dive into history and historical accounts of the covenant and the Ark and all these bizarre stories that have lasted throughout history. Mm-hmm. And the real evidence that there was really sophisticated societies that lived thousands and thousands of years ago, when we kind of assumed that people were hunters and gatherers. You know, Egypt is a great example of that. Like whatever they were doing there was fucking insane.
Exactly. Like we've got pyramids, we've got all these crazy inventions. The things that people back in those days had, it just seems like they, in some way or some sort of way, they used all of these boxes, materials like gold, wood, and all that stuff in order to like gather energy and like just suppress all of the massive amount of energy and just pack it into this one box. So we can't really say that it's supernatural because there's a lot of scientific research that went into the Ark of Covenant, and it seems like the way that it is specifically designed, it actually resembles a lot about how we develop these capacitors in most of the electronic items that we use, where you can pass through the electricity and it can basically hold all of these energies. So it's pretty much the same way in which Ark of the Covenant is actually made. Let me just show you this video in which you'll get like a full-on explanation by one of the top archaeologist scientists who have actually uncovered the secrets behind the scientific explanation as to how the Ark of the Covenant was actually made and what makes this work in such a way that it emits all of these energies. And for those of you guys who have been saying it's just some sort of a biblical nonsense or whatnot, this is a solid proof when scientists and archaeologists have done their utmost research and they have found some solid evidence as to how this entire mechanism basically works. Now just take a look at this stuff.
Biblical scripture, a description of a device. It's got specific dimensions, specific materials, and specific structures and shapes. So what the device is for is a whole other question.
And this is basically how it looks like. So there's like a 3D model that they've just made.
Sounds like a technological device to store energy, like a modern day capacitor.
See, that's what I was saying. It basically works pretty much like a capacitor, which stores massive amount of energy.
Coated with a conductor, gold. Then there is another material inside that is a non-conductor,
a piece of wood.
And then it's got another layer of gold on the inside. And that's exactly how we build capacitors. There's a conductor, an insulator, then a conductor.
I know, right? And then these two things, it just like the angel wings. It seems like, just take a look at how it's pointing at each other. It seems like, there could be some sort of electrifying energy that just passes through each one of them, like positive or negative nodes, and it's just passing through each other in order to keep that energy going on.
And then on top of the ark are these wing-shaped pointing structures. If you look at modern-day Tesla coils and Van de Graaff generators, we always put a probe on the top of it, like a little needle or a little metal arm,
in order to
so
like
that lightning can jump off of that.
Get that energy to pass through.
The energy is transmitted from. This sounds a lot like the Ark of the Covenant.
It has long been...
That's basically what I'm saying. Like, this is not just some sort of a biblical nonsense that's just in the books that people might not want to, believe that, this is even possible or whatnot. But there is some real scientific stuff that's really going on into the structure of how it was made. And that's probably why God was very specific in terms of how he gave the blueprint to Moses in order to manufacture this thing in a very, very specific way. And God basically describes it, like how you have to do it, what kind of gold you need to use, and in between you need to place like a wooden piece in between those things. And the scriptures basically gives us some of the most fascinating things that, the universe holds as one of the biggest mysteries and secrets. Take a look at this footage right here.
And then they have an ancient church, the Church of St. Mary, a cathedral actually of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark apparently was kept for hundreds and hundreds of years. Before that it was kept elsewhere, and then now it's been moved into a chapel that stands next to St. Mary of Zion Cathedral. And
so the chapel that he's talking about is this one right here. This is like the small chapel in which the Ark of Covenant is apparently kept, and it's a pretty old freaking church, honestly. Very, very old church, and it's so freaking fascinating to actually look at these things and know that it actually exists right now as we speak. It's just amazing.
That chapel is guarded by armed men. The whole town is an armed camp that is protecting what they believe to be the Ark of the Covenant, but it's guarded particularly by one guy who is the official guardian of the Ark, and he's
okay. So it's just one guy that protects it. Seems like there's supposed to be some sort of a head And we don't exactly know how they are going to be choosing this one guy.
Elected by other monks to be the guardian of the ark, and
they got monks.
Several of them have run away when they get that election, because once you're elected as the guardian of the ark, when the previous one has died, you're going to be kept in that chapel forever. You'll never be.
You see, that's exactly what I was saying. Once you're selected as the guard, you're going to be staying in the chapel forever till the end of your life. There is no escape from or even getting out of the place. You are the guardian. It's pretty much like all of these movies that we watch, like The Mummies and, Indiana Jones and all these movies, which kind of shows us there is some sort of a massive artifact and it's being guarded by someone that's been picked by their bloodline or, through some of the votes and all this stuff. And these guys are basically going to guard it till their death with their life. And that's basically what he's saying.
Be allowed to leave it. So they're close to whatever this object is, they're close to it. And I met 3 of them over a succession of years because their mortality is once they're appointed, they die very soon. And they all had these cataracts over their eyes, and they all blamed the object in that chapel, whether or not it's the ark. Wow.
Can you imagine you being a security guard of Ark of the Covenant and you're pretty much dead? You know that you're going to die at a very young age. And all of these guys literally knew, and they also lost their eyes because of guarding this stuff, because it's that freaking powerful. It's that freaking powerful. Can you imagine?
For causing their blindness.
Wow.
So it's
and no one is going in there and trying to get to the bottom of it. They won't let you.
I don't think they're going to allow anybody in there.
They won't let you.
Exactly, right?
No.
No
It seems
bribing.
like someone should go look.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's in there? I mean, if we really find out the Ark of the Covenant.
Actually, what happened was later, President Trump, he was one of those guys who got to go in there and take a look at that stuff. And he even made like a replica of Ark of the Covenant, and he has it in his room. I think he spoke about this in one of the podcasts in Joe Rogan's. He said that he has like a full handmade replica of that stuff. Obviously, there is no energy or anything inside it, but it's just a replica because it's one of the coolest artifacts that actually exist till this date from the Bible days. And it's just insane. It's insane that it's all coming from Old Testament, not the New Testament, and still exist as of now.
Actual object.
I think it was an actual object.
And you think it was some nuclear something or another? Like,
I don't know what it was.
Exactly. That's what people have been thinking.
Is rightly described as an out-of-place artifact because if you look at the description in the book of Exodus, the very precise dimensions of it, I think in modern terms we'd say 3 feet 9 inches long by 2 feet 3 inches high and wide. It's got a layer of gold, it's got a layer of wood, it's got another layer of gold. It's very precisely specified like a blueprint in the book of Exodus. And then it does...
Let me show you guys how the ark basically looks and how it's constructed. Just look at this video right here, because we have like a picturized images that's going to be shown as he explains on how the Ark of the Covenant is basically made.
That one to me is so crazy that someone is keeping that information from the rest of the humans. Because if we found out the Ark of the Covenant was in fact a real object and we know where it is and it does match the description in the Bible, that kind of changes everything.
I think it was an actual object.
And you think it was some nuclear something or another? Like,
I think it's what is rightly described as an out-of-place artifact because...
Wow, look at that stuff, man. It looks like the angel wings are some sort of an antenna. It works as some sort of an antenna. And then it's like fully made of gold. And then in between there is like wood. And then there's gold again inside it. It's basically how capacitors are made.
If you look at the description in the book of Exodus, the very precise dimensions of it, it's got a layer of gold, it's got a layer of wood, it's got another layer of gold. It's very precisely specified like a blueprint in the book of Exodus. And then it does all this stuff. It shoots out jets of fire and kills 50,000 Philistines in the city of Ashdod when they open the Ark of the Covenant and look inside, and suddenly everybody in that city is dying. And what they're dying of is cancerous tumors. This is described in the Old Testament.
And that's exactly what happens when you go inside some sort of a nuclear radiation. What happens? You basically catch cancer. You get all of these cancerous diseases. And that's also what happened in Philistine as well, when they opened the Ark of the Covenant, and a lot of people died out of cancer back in those times. And it's just maybe there is some sort of nuclear power, nuclear energy that's like trapped inside in there, which is created out of those 10 commandments, and nobody knows how that even happened. It's just the power of God,
Saying
man.
that we know where it is.
The fascinating thing is that Ethiopia is the only country in the world that actually claims to have the Ark of the Covenant.
Wow.
That one to me is just like, we know where it is.
Joe is just freaking shocked. Like, we know where it is. Why haven't we gone and looked for it? Why shouldn't we just go in there and just, find out what is inside the Ark? We should go ahead and try opening it and, seeing what is actually in there. And whether or not if it is some sort of a nuclear power that is present inside of it. All right, let's just go ahead and continue and see what he has to say
fire and
further
kills
about it.
completely innocent people. It kills 50,000 Philistines in the city of Ashdod when they briefly capture it from the Israelites and make the mistake of treating it
Opening
like a tourist object. And they open the Ark of the Covenant and look inside, and suddenly everybody in that city is dying. And
apparently it seems like it also spits fire. Massive amount of fire just comes out of it once you open it. And nobody knows what causes that fire.
Dying of is cancerous tumors. This is described in the Old Testament. So it's intriguing that this object is so precisely specified.
I mean, it's not like it's going to be, if it's radioactive, it's not like it's going to be contained just this one small area. You're going to have traces of it that leak out.
True. It would be a good way
especially if people are getting cataracts from being in the room with it.
Yeah.
And so 3 different people you talk to have cataracts from that.
Yeah. And
So everybody gets cataract. Like if you want to go stay there, like probably for a couple of days, you're basically going to reduce the lifespan of how long you're going to live, and you're going to lose your eyesight. That's freaking messed up, dude.
The Bible is some sort of a historical record.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that one of the world's best-known flood myths also comes from the Bible, which is the flood of Noah, which again is part of this worldwide tradition, of which I am absolutely convinced Atlantis should be understood as a part of that worldwide tradition of a global flood.
I know, right? Like a lot of people don't believe that, the flood that is mentioned in the Bible, it is actually real. And that's the reason why Atlantis is all the way down, that's sunk inside the water. And some of the scientists, they don't even have an explanation as to why Atlantis is sunk. And the Bible already knows why it is, and we already have all of the explanations, and we have the Ark of the Covenant. We have so many stuff, and still a lot of people don't really trust in all of these things. And I would just say that either we are one of the most arrogant peoples, because I was one of them, I'm not just blaming you guys. I was one of them. I really did not trust in all of these things until I did like a complete study of what's really going on with all of the prophecies coming true. That's the first thing that kind of just, fascinated me in order to go ahead and learn more stuff about this. And as I kept learning, as I kept reading Bibles and learning stuff and seeing what kind of historical events actually happened in real life, and whether or not if it's historically accurate, whether or not if we have proof and all this stuff, I finally learned that yes, these things actually do exist. There really are some major historical artifacts and proofs, and everything that we have seen in the Bible eventually is said to be historically accurate. And these things have indeed happened, and there are some solid proofs to it. And I think recently some of the group of archaeologists, they also found a Noah's Ark, which was built during the flood time. And according to Bible, it was settled all the way top in a mountain, and currently it's still existing in the mountain. They've been doing like a full-on scanner stuff where they send in all these sound waves inside the ground or inside the mountain, and they can basically get an X-ray vision of what's actually inside that mountain. And it seems like they exactly have the specific blueprint of what seems to be the same thing that was specified in the Old Testament of the Bible, which is Noah's Ark. And it's just absolutely fascinating. And once I did all of these studies, I was really intrigued to know more about this stuff. And because I'm not even a Christian, and I was never really onto God and even learning about these things. And then eventually when time comes for everyone, I think at some point in life, people will eventually want to know the meaning of their lives and want to know what are the things that's happening around us, and basically trying to learn about some of the historical stuff. And that's basically how I started learning about all of these arcs and all of these stuffs. And it's just really fascinating watching some of the Joe Rogan podcasts, and it just seems like, these are very interesting stuff. And that's the reason why I really wanted to go ahead and make this video, so that some of you guys can also get to know about what's really going on in the world. So there's also another clip from Joe Rogan's podcast, which I want you guys to really take a look at, because this one, it's actually pretty darn
Great
good.
example of that. Like whatever they were doing there was fucking insane.
Right.
I mean, the structures that they made, still today, we look at them and go, what the hell were you guys doing?
Yeah, how was this made? Yeah.
And he believes that that society had reached a very, very sophisticated level of technological achievement, and then something happened. And now we're living in like a rebuild, even though we're very sophisticated, in terms of.
That is exactly what, most of the Christians believe, I think. I mean, not everyone, because some people, they just don't believe in the Bible or God, either ways. It seems like the guys who basically built the pyramid, they seem to have reached some sort of a level in terms of intelligence and technology, and then something massive happened. Maybe it's the flood, we never know. Something massive happened, and they just got removed from Earth for some reason. They don't exist anymore, or maybe they're just still living and we don't know that yet. Right now, it just seems like, we are recreating history. We're just going all the way back to the kind of technology they used to have, or maybe in a different way. Even right now in 2025, we still cannot build a pyramid. We still can't move the amount of huge stones, each single stone that's present in the pyramid. We still can't do it. With all the machineries, with all the technology that we have, we still cannot cut it. We still cannot move it the way that they have done thousands of years ago when it was actually built. Nobody knows when that is. And just look at what Joe has to say.
When you really start digging deep into it, it's very fascinating. This one particular place has been protected for so long, and all these people
He's talking
that
about
have
Ethiopia.
Supposedly seen it describe something that's, Trump apparently has like a model of the Ark of the Covenant. And
there we go. That's what I was saying. Trump actually went in there. He got to take a look at that stuff, and he even made like a full-on replica of it.
Mar-a-Lago.
No way.
Yeah, see if you can find that. Yeah, he's got like a recreation of the Ark of the Covenant in Mar-a-Lago.
And that whole covenant was pretty cool based on how, God had said, look, it, had an saying this is how big it's got to be. It was built out of a certain wood, gold, the handles, everything.
Everything is like gold.
Commandments.
Oh, there we go. There it is. So that's basically the replica that Donald Trump holds as of now. Just look at this stuff. Here we go, lads. Just take a look at this stuff. This is basically like the 100% replica of what apparently it looks like. That's freaking insane. Like, you have like these handles, it's full of gold. There's like wooden stuff inside. Now, if you go ahead, there's also a couple other photos in here. Just take a look at this stuff. That's pretty interesting. And this is what Trump actually tried to recreate. It's just fascinating little artifact that we've got going in here. Look at that. Let's take a look at this stuff. There is some crazy amount of powers that kind of exist inside of this. And I really hope at some point in our humanity, we kind of, try to see what's inside in here. I mean, it could basically reveal a lot of things that was lost from the Bible times. I mean, there were a lot of different pages that was lost, right? So eventually, if we open this up, maybe we'll finally find out what it is. And maybe the guardians that are guarding it, they probably already have seen this stuff. They probably know what's inside exactly. And I don't think they're going to be revealing that stuff to any of the general public. So let's go and see what Joe has to say here.
I think that's a recreation based on biblical accounts.
Absolutely.
Very strange.
Well, maybe Trump can take us and show it to us, man. That'd be cool.
What did you say, Jamie?
I'm trying to figure out if, clearly it was there. It might have just been there temporarily.
I don't know, man. It's just fascinating stuff. I'm really intrigued as I keep moving on with this channel. I wanted to go ahead and cover all of these things. Because basically, you guys know me as this gaming YouTuber that only has been covering video game content. And at this point, I just started feeling like there's literally nothing going on in the gaming industry. Everything is pretty dry. There is no good games coming up. And as I started playing video games and I started learning more about these fascinating stuffs that's really existing and that's going on in this world, like the aliens, the drones situations, and also reading the Bible and learning about all the prophecies that's actually coming true. And I've been going through all of these historical stuff, and I just realized that I started enjoying these content. I really started enjoying consuming these content, and I, basically thought that why not go ahead, share this with my audience. And the results that I've been getting from you guys, the love and the support that you guys have been showing for these type of content have been absolutely amazing. And I've also been getting so many different mails from you guys, where you guys are saying that after watching my videos, you kind of picked your Bible up and you started to regain faith in God and you wanted to go ahead and change your life for the better. And I think that's one of the best parts that hopefully, in the future of this channel, I want to do some videos which actually, changes people's lives in some sort of a way, in a good way, of course. So, whatever I'm doing at this point, I'm really, really enjoying it. I know a lot of the gaming fans, they're not really interested in this stuff, but don't worry about it because I'm going to be covering all of the topics. I'm going to be doing gaming. That's never going going to change. I will always be doing gaming content, but we're also going to be exploring some of these extra stuff, because if you have been noticing my upload schedules, I am not just lacking on gaming content. I'm also posting gaming videos, and these are just the extra add-ons, man. Like, I know a lot of people have been complaining about me not doing gaming videos. I just think that you guys are not watching those gaming videos, because I've been posting multiple videos every single day. One is either gaming, and then the other stuff, it's just all about these stuff that I'm really interested in. And then again, I post another gaming video. It just keeps going. It's never ending process, because previously I was only doing one video per day and it was just about some sort of a gaming news. But now I'm doing both stuff. I'm doing gaming at the same time I'm doing something that I'm currently interested in. And I think I want to do more stuff like these. And I've also been speaking with my buddy Skizzle. He's also been covering some really interesting stuff on his channel about the UFOs and all the current drone situation that's been going on. Huge shout out to this dude. And we've also been thinking about doing some collaborations together, starting some sort of a live podcast where we can share our thoughts together and create some amazing content together. And hopefully things work out. And if you guys do show enough support, I think we're going to be having a lot of different variations of content on this channel and a lot of different collaborations with some of the cool guys that I never really thought that I was going to collaborate in the future. So there is definitely a lot of opportunities, and I really wanted to go ahead and explore all the different types of content that I am personally interested in. And it's not just gaming. I want to do all the stuff. So I really hope you guys do support these kind of stuff. So I really hope you guys do support it rather than just being super negative, because I've been seeing plenty of negative comments. And I just think that, you guys are basically not watching the gaming videos, because I'm doing both stuff. There is no limitations in gaming content. It's still there. It's still coming. These are just the add-ons for new kind of viewers. So I really hope you guys appreciate this stuff, because it takes almost like entire day of my life in order to, record, edit, and do all of these stuff. So I really hope you guys support it. And definitely, if you guys want to see more stuff like these, make sure to go ahead, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my buddy Skizzle's channel as well. I will leave the link for his channel in the description down below. And with that being said, if you guys are going and enjoy this content, please just go ahead, smack a like. And always, if you want to contact me, go ahead and tweet me on Twitter rather than sending me mails, because those mails are basically for business purposes. So if you guys want to talk to me, contact me and get to know stuff, always make sure to go ahead and tweet at me, and I will make sure to reply to each and every one of you guys. And also, another best way is to just go ahead, leave your thoughts in the comments down below, because I always make sure to read all of my comments as much as I possibly can, and I would love to do more of these stuff. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy more content that's coming up on this channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.